All right, team, welcome back to Creative Ideas. You know, that sinking feeling when your car decides to throw a tantrum at the worst possible moment. We've all been there. Maybe it's the dreaded click, click, click of a dead battery when you're already late, or that wobbly sensation that screams flat tire miles from anywhere. It's frustrating, can be expensive, and honestly, a little intimidating if you're not a car wizard. But what if I told you that you, yes, you, have the power to tackle some of the most common car gremlins yourself? In today's video, we're rolling up our sleeves and diving headfirst into the 5 most common car problems. I'm going to show you, step by step, how to fix them yourself. And trust me, you don't need a fancy degree in mechanical engineering or a garage full of specialized tools. We're talking about practical, real-world solutions that anyone can master. Think of this as your car care cheat sheet, designed to empower you and save you from those pesky mechanic bills. These tips are absolute game changers. They can help you save a surprising amount of money, get you out of a jam and avoid those annoying towing fees, and most importantly, keep your trusty 4-wheeled companion running smoothly and safely. It's all about building that confidence and knowing you've got this. So grab your metaphorical wrench, buckle up, and let's dive in and turn you into a DIY car fixing hero. Okay, first up, the classic dead battery. You turn the key and instead of that satisfying vroom, you get silence. Or maybe that pathetic clicking sound that just mocks your urgent need to be somewhere else. It's a universal experience, right? But fear not, because jump-starting a car is way easier than it looks, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it safely and effectively. It's like giving your car a little electrical CPR, and you're about to become a lifesaver. First things first, you'll need a few key items, a set of jumper cables. These are non-negotiable, so always keep a pair in your trunk, and a car with a healthy charged battery. That could be a friend's car, a helpful stranger's, or even a second family vehicle. Safety is paramount here, so make sure both cars are turned off in park or neutral with the parking brakes engaged. And hey, if you've got safety glasses and gloves, now's the time to rock them. We're dealing with electricity, folks, so better safe than sorry. Next, pop the hoods of both vehicles and locate the batteries. You're looking for the positive, usually marked with a plus sign or red cap, and negative, usually a minus sign or black cap, terminals. Sometimes they can be a bit grimy, which we'll talk about later. Position the donor car close enough so the cables can reach, but make sure the cars aren't touching each other. We don't want any unexpected sparks or short circuits. Think of it as setting up a very specific, very important electrical handshake between two vehicles. Now for the crucial cable connection sequence, this is where the magic happens. And doing it in the right order is super important to prevent sparks and protect your car's electronics. Take one of the red positive clamps and connect it to the positive terminal of the dead battery. Then connect the other red clamp to the positive terminal of the good battery. Next, take a black negative clamp and connect it to the negative terminal of the good battery. Finally, and this is key, connect the other black clamp to an unpainted metal surface on the engine block or chassis of the car, with the dead battery away from the battery itself. This grounds the circuit safely. With everything connected, start the engine of the car with the good battery and let it run for a few minutes. This gives the dead battery a chance to slurp up some charge. Then, try to start the car with the dead battery. If it cranks up, awesome. Let both cars run for a few more minutes to build up a bit more charge in the formerly dead battery. If it doesn't start right away, double check your connections, let the good car run a bit longer, and try again. Sometimes it just needs a little more juice and patience. Once your car is running, it's time to disconnect the cables, and you'll do this in the reverse order you connected them. So, remove the black clamp from the unpainted metal surface on the previously dead car first. Then, remove the black clamp from the good battery. Next, remove the red clamp from the good battery. And finally, remove the red clamp from the now running car's battery. Keep those clamps from touching each other or any metal parts while you're doing this. And here's a bonus tip for you. If you notice your battery terminals are covered in that crusty, greenish-white stuff, that's corrosion, and it can prevent a good connection. You can easily clean it off with a simple paste of baking soda and water. Just disconnect the battery, negative first, then positive. Apply the paste, let it bubble, scrub with an old toothbrush or wire brush, rinse with a little water, and dry thoroughly before reconnecting. Positive first, then negative this time. This little bit of maintenance can prevent future starting problems. Pretty neat, huh? All right, next up is another all too common roadside woe. the dreaded flat tire. You're cruising along, tunes playing, and suddenly you feel that telltale wobble or hear the thwomp, thwomp, thwomp of a deflated tire. It's a major bummer, but changing a tire is a skill that will serve you well, and it's totally doable. Think of yourself as a one-person pit crew, ready for action. We're going to break this down so you can tackle it with confidence. Safety is your absolute #1 priority here. As soon as you realize you have a flat, signal and pull over to a safe location, as far from traffic as possible on level ground. Turn on your hazard lights immediately. Engage the parking brake firmly. You do not want the car rolling while you're working on it. Now locate your spare tire, jack, and lug wrench. These are usually in the trunk, under the floor, or sometimes mounted underneath the vehicle. Check your owner's manual if you're not sure where they're hiding. Before you even think about jacking up the car, here's a pro tip. Loosen the lug nuts while the flat tire is still on the ground. The weight of the car will help keep the wheel from spinning as you apply force. Use the lug wrench and turn the nuts counterclockwise. Remember, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Don't remove them completely yet, just break them loose. About half a turn to a full turn should do it. They can be pretty tight, so you might need to put some muscle into it. Now it's time to get that car jacked up. Consult your owner's manual to find the correct jack points on your car's frame. These are reinforced areas designed to safely support the vehicle's weight. Placing the jack in the wrong spot can damage your car or be unstable. Position the jack correctly and begin to raise the vehicle until the flat tire is completely off the ground, with enough clearance to remove it and put the spare on. Make sure the jack remains stable throughout this process. With the car safely in the air, you can now fully unscrew the lug nuts you loosened earlier. Keep them together in a safe place, like a hubcap or your pocket, so you don't lose any. Carefully pull the flat tire straight towards you, off the wheel studs, and lay it flat on the ground under the vehicle near the jack point as an extra safety precaution. Now grab your spare tire, line it up with the wheel studs, and push it on. It might take a little wiggling to get it seated properly. Once the spare is on, put the lug nuts back on and tighten them by hand as much as you can. This ensures the wheel is seated correctly before you lower the car. Now slowly lower the vehicle using the jack until the spare tire is resting firmly on the ground, but the car isn't fully down. Remove the jack. Now, using the lug wrench, tighten the lug nuts properly. The key here is to tighten them in a star pattern. Tighten one nut, then the one opposite it, then another, then its opposite, and so on. This ensures the wheel is tightened evenly. Get them good and snug. Finally, here's that pro tip I mentioned. Check the air pressure in your spare tire at least once a month. So many people forget this, and a spare tire with low pressure isn't much help. Also, don't forget to get your flat tire repaired or replaced as soon as possible. Spare tires are often temporary and may have speed or distance limitations. But for now, give yourself a pat on the back. You just changed a tire like a pro. Let's talk about something that's literally the lifeblood of your engine, the oil. Engine oil lubricates all those fast-moving metal parts, reduces friction, helps keep things cool, and cleans away gunk. Running your engine with low oil is a recipe for disaster, serious, expensive, engine-seizing disaster. So, knowing how to check and top up your oil is a fundamental car care skill, and it's super easy. We're basically giving your car its essential vitamins. The best time to check your engine oil is when the engine is cool, or has been off for at least 10 to 15 minutes and the car is parked on level ground. This allows the oil to settle back into the oil pan, giving you an accurate reading. Pop the hood and locate the engine oil dipstick. It usually has a brightly colored handle, often yellow or orange, and might even have an oil can symbol on it. If you're unsure, your car's owner's manual will be your best friend here, pointing it out clear as day. Once you've found the dipstick, pull it all the way out. Have a clean rag or paper towel ready. Wipe the end of the dipstick clean because the oil splashed around while the engine was running will give you a false reading. Now reinsert the dipstick fully back into its tube. Wait a second, then pull it out again. This time carefully, keeping it horizontal to prevent the oil from running and smudging the reading. Now look at the end of the dipstick. You'll see markings indicating the oil level, usually 2 lines, dots, or a cross-hatched area. The top mark indicates full, and the bottom mark indicates add or low. Your oil level should ideally be at or near the full mark. If it's at or below the add mark, or even just significantly below full, it's time to add some oil. Don't panic. This is a normal maintenance task for many cars. If you need to add oil, first locate the oil filler cap. This is usually on top of the engine and often has an oil can symbol or the word oil on it. Unscrew the cap. Before you pour, double-check your owner's manual to determine the correct type and viscosity of oil for your specific car, like 5W30 or 10W40. Using the wrong oil can be harmful. Add a small amount of oil at a time, maybe half a quart or half a liter to start. Using a funnel will help prevent messy spills. After adding some oil, wait a minute or two for it to drain down into the oil pan, then recheck the level with the dipstick wipe, insert, remove, read. Repeat this process, adding small amounts and rechecking until the oil level is at the full mark. Crucially, do not overfill. Too much oil can be just as bad as too little, causing issues like foamed oil and blown seals. Patience is key here. Slowly but surely wins the race. Once you're satisfied with the level, securely replace the oil filler cap and the dipstick. And here's your essential maintenance tip. While topping up is good, it's not a substitute for regular oil changes. Old oil loses its effectiveness and gets dirty. Adhering to your car manufacturer's recommended oil change schedule, usually found in your owner's manual and based on mileage or time, is critical for the long-term health and longevity of your engine. Think of it as a spa day for your car's insides. Okay, this next one can be a bit scary. An overheating engine. You see that temperature gauge creeping into the red zone, or worse, steam billowing from under the hood. It's a stressful situation, but panicking can make things worse. Knowing the right immediate steps can save your engine from catastrophic damage. So let's create a cool-down game plan, because quick, calm action is your best friend here. The very first thing to do if you suspect your engine is overheating is to pull over to a safe spot as quickly and safely as possible and turn off the engine immediately. The longer it runs hot, the more damage can occur. We're talking warped cylinder heads, blown head gaskets, all sorts of expensive nightmares. So find a safe shoulder or parking lot, shift into park, apply the parking brake and kill the engine. Every second counts in this scenario. Once you're safely stopped, turn on your hazard lights to alert other drivers. Now here's a slightly counterintuitive trick that can actually help. If it's safe to do so, meaning no smoke or fire, you can turn the ignition back to the on position without starting the engine and turn your car's heater on full blast with the fan on high. This might seem crazy, especially if it's a hot day, but the heater core acts like a small secondary radiator, and it can help draw some of that excess heat away from the engine. Here's a huge warning. Do not, under any circumstances, attempt to open the radiator cap while the engine is hot or even warm. The cooling system is pressurized, and the coolant can be scalding hot well over boiling point. Opening that cap prematurely can result in severe burns from escaping steam and boiling liquid. Think of it like a super hot pressure cooker. You have to let it cool down completely before even thinking about touching that cap. Safety first, always. Now comes the waiting game. You need to let the engine cool down significantly. This could take at least 30 minutes, possibly an hour or more, depending on how hot it got in the ambient temperature. Don't rush this. While you're waiting, from a safe distance if there was steam, you can try to visually inspect under the hood for any obvious signs of trouble, like a burst hose, a loose clamp, or coolant puddles under the car. But again, don't touch anything hot. Once the engine has cooled down completely, and I mean completely, so the radiator and engine block are cool to the touch, you can check the coolant level. First, check the coolant recovery tank or overflow reservoir. It usually has low and full markings. If it's low, you can add coolant there. If the reservoir is empty, and only if the engine is truly cold, you can carefully open the radiator cap. Use a thick rag and turn it slowly to release any residual pressure and check the level there. If needed, add a 50-50 mix of coolant or antifreeze and distilled water, or pre-mixed coolant. And here's an emergency tip that could save you. Always keep a jug of pre-mixed coolant and a couple of thick rags in your trunk. If you manage to get the coolant topped up and there are no major visible leaks, you might be able to drive slowly to the nearest mechanic. However, an overheating engine often signals a more serious underlying problem: a failing water pump, a thermostat issue, a leak, or a clogged radiator. This DIY fix is often just to get you to safety. A professional checkup is almost always necessary. There's nothing quite like the misery of your car's air conditioning giving up the ghost on a sweltering summer day. You crank it up, expecting a blast of icy relief, and instead you get lukewarm, sad air. It's the worst. But before you resign yourself to sweating it out or shelling out big bucks at the garage, there are a couple of surprisingly simple fixes you can try yourself. These won't solve every AC problem, but they tackle some of the most common culprits. The first and often most effective DIY fix is to recharge your car's AC system with refrigerant. Over time, small amounts of refrigerant can leak out, reducing the system's cooling ability. You can buy an AC recharge kit at most auto parts stores. These kits typically come with a can of refrigerant, usually R134A for most modern cars. But check your vehicle's specs and a built-in gauge and hose assembly. It looks a bit technical, but it's designed for DIYers. Before you start, put on some safety glasses and gloves. Refrigerant can be harmful if it contacts your skin or eyes. With the engine off, locate the AC system's low-pressure service port. This is usually on the larger diameter aluminum AC line and will have a plastic cap, often marked with an L. Your car's manual, or the recharge kit instructions, might have a diagram. Once found, remove the cap, connect the recharge kit's hose. It should click on, and then start your car and turn the AC onto its highest setting and coldest temperature. Now carefully follow the instructions that came with your specific recharge kit. Generally, you'll be holding the can upright and slowly adding refrigerant, periodically releasing the trigger to check the pressure reading on the gauge. The goal is to get the pressure into the correct range indicated on the gauge, often color-coded for simplicity. It's crucial not to overcharge the system, as this can also cause poor cooling or damage components. Take your time and monitor that gauge closely. The second simple fix, which can also surprisingly impact AC performance, is replacing your cabin air filter. Yes, that little filter you probably forgot existed. A clogged cabin air filter restricts airflow into your car, meaning your AC has to work harder, and the cool air it does produce might not reach you with much force. Plus, a clean filter improves the air quality inside your car, which is a nice bonus. This is often overlooked, but can make a noticeable difference. Locating and replacing the cabin air filter is usually pretty straightforward. In many cars, it's found behind the glove box. You might need to unclip or remove the glove box. Again, your owner's manual is your guide here to access the filter housing. Once you find it, simply slide out the old filter. You might be shocked at how dirty it is. Note its orientation and slide in the new one. Make sure it's facing the correct way. There's usually an airflow arrow on the filter. Both of these fixes, recharging the refrigerant and replacing the cabin air filter, can significantly improve your AC's cooling power and airflow. If neither of these does the trick, you might have a more significant issue, like a larger refrigerant leak, a problem with the AC compressor, or an electrical fault, which will likely require a professional mechanic. But trying these two easy steps first could save you a trip and some cash, and get you back to enjoying that sweet, sweet cold air. So there you have it, 5 of the most common car problems and the know-how to tackle them yourself. From jump-starting a battery to changing a tire, checking your oil, handling an overheating engine, and even giving your AC a little TLC, these aren't mystical arts reserved only for seasoned mechanics. As you've seen, with a little guidance and the right approach, these are totally manageable tasks that can get you out of a bind. These 5 car problems are indeed very common, cropping up when we least expect them. But as you've seen throughout this video, they don't always need an expensive trip to the mechanic or a desperate call for roadside assistance. Armed with a few basic tools, a bit of patience, and the foundational knowledge we've covered today, you now have the power to diagnose and solve these issues yourself. Think of the money you'll save, the confidence you'll build, and the satisfaction of saying, "I fixed that." We hope these tips help you feel more empowered and less intimidated by your car. Remember, knowledge is power. If you found this video helpful, please give it a big thumbs up. Drop a comment below if you have any questions or your own DIY car tips. And definitely hit that subscribe button and the notification bell for more DIY car hacks, life hacks, and smart tips from Creative Ideas. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.